What's up guys, welcome back to Fancy Goldfish Fanatics. Today we're going to be taking a look at the KINTOTO Fancy Goldfish Store, so make sure you stay tuned to find out more. Hey Fanatics family, welcome back. As always, check out the links in the description and make sure you've checked out our website and our Instagram page. Today, as I mentioned, we're going to be taking a look at the KINTOTO Fancy Goldfish Store. Now, this original video was filmed by Joe at Aquatics Planet. So if you want to check out the original video with his dialogue and his video descriptions, etc., then you can check out the link I put in the description down below and check out, because he is the original content creator and owner of the video. But I'm going to have a little look at this store myself, see what I think about it, see what I think about the goldfish inside, the systems, the setup, everything like that, and we're going to run it through just like he has on his channel. And I always like to put my input into things and see how things are done slightly different in different countries and different areas of the world, and put my little spin on the video, I suppose you could say. So without further ado, let's get into it and let's check it out. As you can see, now we are in the KINTOTO Goldfish Store, and you'll see first of all we are presented with a few goldfish tubs. Now this isn't the biggest fancy goldfish store that we've had featured on the channel, but it looks like it's got quite an easy to navigate layout, lots of different style systems, tubs, tanks, etc., and lots of different goldfish to have a look through. So first up, we've got these really small kind of troughs, really small tanks, blue and black tubs with lots of little fancy goldfish in. These might be more of the common style goldfish, I'm not too sure because we don't quite get a close-up of the fish. And next we are greeted with a small, maybe 20-gallon 40-gallon tank with some absolutely lovely quality ranchu in. Now these look like they are a cow style or a water ink style fish. Now the water potentially might be quite cold because these fish look like they are quite inactive, or potentially they've just gone through the store move that the original content creator mentioned at the beginning of the video, so maybe that's why they're still acclimating to their environment. But a lot of the fish in these videos seem quite slow, a little bit sluggish, so maybe there is a reason for that. And I'm not just going to jump in there and say this store has parasites, for example. Maybe they've just been through a move, maybe the water quality is the water is quite cold, or maybe they're a little bit stressed out, or they need a water change very soon. As I can see that this store seems to run a lot of sponge filters. Now obviously having lots of sponge filters on individual tanks is great for a shop, because it means we can quarantine each tank separately and avoid the crossover of any parasites or pathogens, which is a really good idea. Although it can make maintenance quite a lot harder and a lot more intense, and also it means you can't feed a lot of food. When running tanks just purely off sponge filters, if you have a heavy to medium stocking level, it can really mean that you can't put too much food in the tank, because the sponges do not have a huge surface area to be able to deal with a lot of food and a lot of fish. We can also see it looks like we've got some wakin or wakin here, and maybe some type of a shabumpkin, maybe a Bristol shabumpkin, but I doubt it in this store. Probably just normal standard shabumpkin in these tubs that line the floor. And it looks like on the racks higher up, the first rack and the second rack, where you've got more of a fancy style goldfish like the red and white oranda that we can see here. Now a lot of these fish do look of really good quality and look like they've got really good potential for the future. We've got some stunning orandas here with the large red cap on the top. Really nice fish and look great once they're grown out. Will have a good presence within the tanks. We can see obviously the tanks are quite highly stocked because this is a store obviously, and they generally have quite a high turnover of fancy goldfish, so please bear that in mind when looking at different shops. They generally do have quite a high level of fish within a small area, because they do go through quite a high turnover of these fish. Now these ones look like they might be blue phoenix, which are really rare egg fancy goldfish or egg fish. They are really hard to come across and really hard to find. That blue-based goldfish or that blue steel, that silver type fancy goldfish is really not very common at all and really hard to find. So it's really nice to see they have a huge selection of those blue egg phoenix and these slightly metallic blue ranchu as well. These become really nice fish, and generally I found as the blue fish get older, they don't lose that blue, for example, and they keep that real nice metallic color. Generally, a lot of fancy goldfish will molt their color as they get older, but those bluefish, once they get to a large adult size, they can be really impressive and really contrast off the other fish in your tank. Looks like we've got some small ryukin here with maybe some slightly larger tricolor or metallic ryukin as well mixed in with them. The tricolour fish are really nice, but as mentioned in some of the previous videos, tricolour fish, you need to watch them because they can change and just become a two-colour fish and turn from those black into the red and white as well. So that is always one thing to look out for. And if you are putting quite a little bit of money into a tricolour fish, it's always good to know the heritage bloodline, and if you can even see the parent fish, see pictures of them just to see what they look like and what they potentially would turn out to be. Now it looks like we've got some blue-based calicos as well on the screen here with these Oranda. Really nice quality. I'm really liking the quality that I can see in this goldfish shop. Looks like it has a fish all the way up from maybe a few pounds or a few dollars all the way up to some really nice high-end fish. What looks to be here some nice lion heads. Now don't get confused with the lion heads and the ranchu. There are very fine differences between them, although they may look very similar from a side view. Although the lion heads generally have a slightly larger head, although with the crossbreeding we've been seeing going on in the past decade, this is quite hard to distinguish. But the lion head generally has a long flat back. You don't want to see any bumps in it. You want to make sure that back is nice and flat, and the tail just sticks up at around, I believe it's a 45-degree angle from this. Looks like on these tubs on the floor as well, we've got another selection of fish. Now these are green tubs, and they show up the colours a little bit differently. So that is another thing to consider when selecting fish from a store like this. They do have maybe the same lighting but different coloured base tubs, and the different coloured base tubs can have quite a big impact on the fish's colour. Putting some bright coloured fish on a black background can really pop the colour, and vice versa, like these black ranchu here on that blue background, it can really pop out that colour, make them look really nice, and see the slightly different shades within them. Now if you do have a black ranchu in a black tank, they can be quite hard to see, and you can also miss quite a lot of the qualities that they may or may not have. Generally on the black fish, you need to really be looking at those eyes to see if they've got them and they're not covered by the wen, because the wen development on the black fish is very prominent 90% of the time and can always cover the eyes. So that is one thing to look for. Looks like we've also got some nice bubble eyes, some red and whites, some blacks, some blue based calicos. Bubble eyes aren't that common, I would say, but they are very interesting and unique fish, that's for sure. So it's quite nice to see a large selection and a good size selection as well. A lot of the time you only see small bubble eyes because they can be quite risky to import and bring in, because obviously they do have those large vesicles on their face which can often get damaged or injured in transport. So it's quite nice to see some slightly larger fish in a retail environment. Next up, we've got some lovely red and white or orange ranchu. These look a little bit bigger than some of the smaller fish that we've seen, maybe around that 3 to even 4 inch range, and coming up in quality a little bit. Really nice wen shape. Look like they've got nice bodies as well, and we've also got a slight different mix in the video here of some ranchu and what look to be maybe ryukin. Now we are back onto some more ranchu, but on the side view. Really interesting to see how the shop displays the top view and the side view. An absolutely stunning Sakura ranchu here with those lovely ginrin or metallic scales. Ginrin refers to the Japanese for the metallic style scales with a little bit of sparkle in them, and I'm really a sucker for a Sakura fish myself. I haven't actually owned any personally, but the Sakuras are always really lovely to look at, and that different scale patterning also has quite a nice effect, especially when combined with the different colours of the fish as well. Looks like we've got a few empty tanks that may be getting full in the near future, and on the floor we've got an absolutely huge quantity of potentially wakin, shabumpkins or just common goldfish being run on a canister filter, because definitely a sponge filter would not be man enough for those. But it looks like we've seen all of the different fish that are in this shop, and now we're having a little close look at the dry good range. Potentially this shop is in China or Japan, I would say. Judging by the style of the shop, looks like we've got lots of different quality goldfish foods and lots of different products. But that is the whole tour of this small little shop. Really like this layout and the setup, and they had some absolutely stunning fish on offer. Really would like to see this in person one day. So I hope you enjoyed that video of the KINTOTO Fancy Goldfish store. I thought it was a really interesting store, really liked the layout overall, and there was definitely some nice fancy goldfish in there. So I really want to say my thanks to Aquatics Planet for doing the original video, because without it we wouldn't have the video here today. If you want to see more goldfish stores tours like this, then let me know in the comment section, or if you want to have some different video ideas, or if you guys have got any video ideas as well, then also let me know down in that comment section, and I'll do my best to get them onto the channel. If there's any other videos out there that you think I should put on the channel and do a little review or a little rating on, then let me know as well, and we can sort of do that on the channel and get a little reaction series going as well. So that is it for today's video. I really hope you enjoyed it. Any comments or queries, let me know down below as I mentioned. But as always, thank you all for watching. Remember to keep those water changes up, and happy fish keeping.